running out of my building. I don't know, going somewhere after training or whatever. And I realized, oh no, I forgot my phone in the room. So I spin around and I run. I'm just spinning around, running back into the building, and I end up running into this guy, and he grabs me by both shoulders because we're in the doorway, and he just kind of moves me around. He said, "Hey, yeah, watch out, buddy." And he moved me around, and I was just super starstruck because it was Usain Bolt leaving my building, grabbed me by two shoulders.
All right, everyone. We have a special guest on this show here tonight, Dylan Carter, native of Trinidad and Tobago, who will represent Trinidad in the Paris Olympics this summer. Dylan is a 12-time All-American and a 3-time NCAA champion and Pac-12 champion at the University of Southern California, also known as USC Trojans. He also holds the record for the 200-yard free and the 100-yard fly. Including his accomplishments at USC, he has several international medals, including a bronze medal at the 50 fly in the 2018 Short Course Championships, a silver medal at the 50 fly 2021 Short Course Championships, a bronze medal at the 50 free 2022 Short Course World Championships, a silver medal at the 50 fly 2018 Commonwealth Games, a bronze medal at the 100-yard back 2019 Pan American Games, and then a silver medal at the 50 fly 2013 World Junior Championships. Dylan represented Trinidad in the Rio, Tokyo, and yet again the Paris Olympics this summer. We are truly honored to have him on the show. Dylan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
As a swimmer, obviously Jamie was an Olympic swimmer. My experience with swimming is I swam for 4 years in high school. So okay. I have a little bit of experience, but not nearly your guys' level. But one of the things that I was interested in knowing about when you were younger and really getting into swimming was, I feel like every swimmer has that time whenever, some period of their career, however long or short it is, where they kind of break through that ceiling and start really noticing big improvements on their times. So can you recall when that was for you and kind of your experience breaking through that kind of glass ceiling to really start making big strides?
Sure. I think I was always good. Not when I say always, I was good. I was 12, 13, 14, teenager, good regionally, Caribbean level, winning medals. But I think the first time that I felt like I really had a really big jump and I could be competitive globally was when I turned 17, which is kind of, when it happens for most guys, right? You start to become a man, and you really start to realize your full potential in whatever it is you're doing athletically. So I went to the Junior World Champs in Dubai. In 2013, I was 17, and I went in and I dropped a bunch of time, and I made a bunch of finals. I was in the 100 backstroke final, 200 freestyle final. I scratched the final. I swam the 100 free. I think I won a medal in the 50 fly, silver medal. So winning a medal at Junior World Champs and making a bunch of finals and stuff, I started to feel like, I can be good globally and not just regionally, because we have this thing regionally called Carifta where you compete among the different islands every year as an age group athlete, and it's a nice level for us, and a lot of kids can pick up a ton of medals there, and you kind of feel like you're the man when you're coming back, but I always kind of had a broader scope of what is really good and what is really fast, and I didn't really feel like I became fast for my age until I was maybe 17.
Okay. Awesome.
Let me tell you guys how humble Dylan is being right now. Right, Dylan dominated these Caribbean regional meets, and it wasn't by any means times that would not compete globally amongst kids at the time when he was 13 and 14. He made my life a living hell trying to coach my guys to figure out how to get on the podium and push him and his teammate Joshua Romney out the way, which was a pure headache for me because these guys are so talented. So he's being very humble right now. He was extremely good when he was younger. But so talking about that breakthrough, your World Juniors, and all of a sudden you realize now, before, did you have a lot of D1 schools on your radar, or did this just kind of shift in terms of where you now saw yourself being at because we know NCAA is fastest meet in the world. Now you're competing against
Yeah.
the fastest guys, and now it's even more so. So
Sure.
did that meet kind of change your perspective on what your college career could look like and where you wanted to go swim and everything like that?
Well, we don't need to get into your comment about the NCAA being the fastest meet in the world, which it's not. But we can move past that because that's not what the question was about. But but no colleges were interested in me. I actually recruited myself to USC, which is funny. But
That's
yeah, I
crazy.
was just a little bit off the radar, and there was some situation with my high school and universities didn't know if I was a junior or senior, and the recruiting rules were different then. But I was a senior, and nobody was calling me, and I ended up winning U.S. Junior Nationals.
You swam for American Heritage, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm at Davy Nadadors and went to high school at American Heritage, and ended up winning U.S. Junior Nationals. And I came home the next day from U.S. Junior Nationals in Knoxville, and I sat down and I watched the phone, and my mom was with me, and I was watching the phone. I was like, "Mom, why is nobody calling? You know, where are the schools? I just won Junior Nationals. Where are the schools? Why is nobody calling?" So I ended up finding the number for Dave Salo, who I wanted to go to USC. And I called him up that day. I said, Dave, coach, I want to come to USC. He said, oh, well, we thought you were junior. I said, no, I'm a senior. It's December. You got to recruit me now. He said, oh, well, we can get you on a visit next month. So I went out on my visit in January, and yeah, the rest was history, I guess.
Nice.
Okay, so I have to know this just because it was a big debate in America. Noah Lyles, you probably heard of him, of course, Olympic track athlete. So the whole debate was, if you were an NBA champ, MLB champ baseball, are you considered a world champ, or are you only a world champ if you're like an Olympian where you actually are on the world stage? What would you consider a world champ?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Noah. Maybe it's because we're Olympic athletes, but I get it, and they want to make the thing. It's a bigger title and all that, but you're not a world champ unless you compete against all athletes in the world, and basketball is different because I guess it is the Premier League of global basketball, and all the best foreign athletes come to America to play in the NBA. So I do understand where they're coming from. MLB sort of that way as well. No, yes. So I do see where they're coming from, but I don't know if you could really truly call yourself world champ if it's not an all-inclusive event, in my opinion.
So, going back to Trinidad, what kind of influence do you have with young swimmers? Are they coming up to you? Are they asking you for advice? And how open are you to giving that advice and giving, your wisdom about your career?
Yeah, I'd say I am approached to, if I'm on pool deck or I'm training, with a club or whatever, kids will of course come and ask me to look at this or look at that. And I have tons and tons of time for that. I love that. And I think that it's really important to be able to take the time out to give back to the next generation, because that's what it's about, right? At the end of the day, like, I remember, like I said to you guys, I remember what, that bronze medal in 2004. I remember where I was when it happened, and how much it really impacted me as a kid. So for them to have younger kids to have a little small interaction with me, I hope that it goes a really long way. And so if I can have any sort of impact at all, I'll be really, really happy and for that. So I've got tons of time for that with those kids.
Looking at those kids and your own development when you were younger, what would you say is like one technique or drill or a part of preparation that you don't think maybe swimmers work on enough, or they don't know is as important as it is?
Yeah, that's a really tough question. I get these questions a lot from young swimmers who are beginning to learn, and they come to me and they say, how can I swim freestyle faster?
Yeah.
And I say, go back over there, rethink the question, and come back to me with a way more specific one. So it's really hard to say, do this and you'll get faster, or you're
Right.
missing this. when I don't know what you're doing, when I don't know what a kid is doing, what they're swimming like, and they say, "Oh, give me one tip," but I don't know. But for me, I think the one or two things that I could say that would be overarching generally
Mm-hmm.
for a young swimmer is make sure you're not neglecting your overall health. So a lot of swimmers, young swimmers, think they train hard in the pool and their job is done, right? And but it's not, it's not. And I think that installing those habits at a young age, of course, with not crazy intensity because you're still a kid and you got to be able to eat donuts and ice cream when you want. Um, but just being aware, being a bit aware, I should get to bed and not stay up till 1 playing video games, just building those habits, make it a bit easier when you get down the road. I think that sort of 24-hour mentality, just beginning to think about it at a young age, I think that can help because then you're not playing catch up when you're 20 and you have all these super bad habits from when you were really young.
You sound like Jamie. Well, I was just talking to Jamie the other day about one of his kids, and he was like, "Now come back and ask me a specific. Did you guys plan that or like?"
No.
No,
Not at all, no. But it's funny. You're
it is
absolutely
funny.
right, Jim, because they always come to you and they say, "How do I swim 21 in the 50 free?" Or "How do you get my breaststroke faster?" I said, "Brother, I don't know. I have no idea what your breaststroke looks like.
Right.
So come to me with a problem. I can't do this on my kick, or I'm struggling with this, or what do you think about this technique versus this technique, and how do you feel about this about the dive?"
Right.
But when you come to me with something very general, it's a really hard question, and I want to give you something meaningful and not something just stupid, because I can answer the question, but it's, you know what I mean? I want to, if you're going to ask me a question, let's do something real here, and let me give you something that you can actually take home and learn from,
Right.
rather than me say, well, work on it, high elbow catch, I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the factor of like when I was playing, it's knowing what you're doing wrong and how and
Yeah,
like being able to ask that questions. Because I played
yeah,
hockey, so
yeah.
for hockey, it's like that. My stick in why is my left crossover worse than my right crossover? So
There we
like
go.
coming to you with a specific question, I love that.
Yeah.
Love that answer because that's so true. Because
Mm.
actually learning your own game, and I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
All right, then let's get a
Tips for breaststroke.
yeah.
Man, come on. Can't do it.
Oh yeah. No.
let's get a little swim geeky here in terms of where you see the sport going. I know you're advocating right now to try and have some of the traditionalists accept that we should have 50s in the Olympics. I know you recently came back from World Champs, and there were some talks there, and hopefully some positive development. Talk on your end why you think it's so important that the sport goes to this, hopefully by the LA Games.
I think it's important for many reasons. I think that traditional Olympic sports are dying, and the viewership is lower than ever. And the Olympics, the IOC is trying to bring in these events, these new events, to bring young viewership because the viewership for Olympic sports is aging, and the most common, the highest viewership is like 65, 60 to 70. Those are the people that watch Olympics now more than anybody else.
Mhm.
And so they're trying to bring young viewership into the game, so they're bringing things like breaking and surfing and skateboarding, which is well and good. But surfing and skateboarding and cricket and lacrosse, they have their own platforms that are always going to be more traditional and more important to those athletes than the Olympics, But for a swimmer, the Olympics is always going to be the most important thing,
Mhm.
and the IOC needs to value those sports that treat it with the respect that it's. If we're the most important thing to you, you need to treat us with respect as well, right? Because we're the ones that are all in. Tennis is not all in. Tennis has a full pro circuit. If the Olympics disappears, they'll live on. Football, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
important to keep these traditional Olympic sports alive with some young viewership. And the 50s have the best viewership out of any swimming race,
Yep.
That's plain and simple, and that's easy to understand. So if you add more 50s, then it's just simple math, right? The viewership, it will be easier. It's easier product to sell. It's easier to put into an Instagram reel for a highlight. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
more exciting. So that's one reason. Another reason is sort of talent neutrality, right? So right now we have only one 50-meter race. It lasts 21 seconds in the Olympic Games, but we have four races that are 100 meters long that last 48 seconds plus 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 up to 1 minute or so for the breaststroke, and women's breaststroke is longer.
They
So
don't let those 56
the
guys hear you saying
window,
that.
yeah. But so the window, the opportunities for athletes that are more fast twitch, that are more sprint oriented in swimming, are far less than
Yep.
those than for athletes that are a lot more slow twitch. And because we have tons of 200s, we have 200s of every stroke, we have 100s of every stroke, we have the 400, the 800, the mixed relays, the 1500, the open water 10K. You know what I mean? So right now the talent, um, the opportunities in swimming are skewed towards slow twitch athletes, which who are genetically going to come from a particular region of the world, and it's going to isolate other regions of the world that have more fast twitch athletes out of swimming. Um, and you look at the regions of the world like the Caribbean, um, and you look at the track and field sprinting, and you look at the men's 100-meter dash, right? And you know that more men have run under 10 seconds from the Caribbean and North America than anywhere else in the world. But we don't have those events that short in swimming.
Right.
So the athletes from the Caribbean are not, we don't have those sort of opportunities. So I think that's the other point of it is giving opportunities, equal opportunities across distances for athletes from the world. You know, I think that we've always been at Carifta level, Jamie. You can speak to this, but I think globally, in terms of age group level, we're always more competitive at the 50s of stroke, the 50 distances.
Yep.
You know, our 200s don't stack up as well.
Christian Homer at
I
the
don't know
first
if
Youth
it's
Olympic Games in
coaching
50.
or
I mean, there's a lot of evidence
yeah.
for it. So in your time being one of the first of the generation that got to experience the International Swim League, do you think, aside from the politics of it, do you think they got it right in terms of how to promote swimming and how to get swimming to be more TV friendly?
Yeah, I think they were on the right track. I do. I think their intentions were good with that aspect. And I just appreciate that they were trying, and I think World Aquatics is trying as well. And they know that they have to revolutionize these sports, all of aquatic sports, or else the days are numbered. You know, for a sport that's done so much for me and for so many people around the world and that we love so dearly, you know, it needs to be revolutionized. Like cricket was revolutionized, um, and like so many other sports are being changed nowadays. You know, swimming and aquatics need to get with it.
So for me, swim is kind of interesting because, like, I grew up in, let's say, not the most ideal situation money wise. I know we talked about resources. So growing up in LA, you would think, hey, we all know how to swim. Everybody thinks the beach. A lot of us didn't. So, two-part question for you. What age did you learn to start swimming? And second, what would you say to someone who maybe has the fear of learning how to swim? Because a lot of my friends growing up, we were in LA, but they didn't know how to swim because maybe they had a fear of swimming. So what would you say
Yeah.
to a person in that case?
Yeah, I learned to swim very young. My mom was very paranoid because she had a dog drown when she was very young. One of her first pets, I think her first pet drowned in their family pool. So when I was very young, I was sent to the very same pool that I train at now. And I learned to swim there maybe at age 3 or 4. And I would say that to anybody who's afraid to learn to swim, the first step to being really good at something is being really bad at something. And you know, it's not just for style, it's or to look cool in a party. It's for your life, or to potentially save a life. When you're from a place like the Caribbean, you're surrounded by a body of water. I think it's even more important. Or a place like Los Angeles with a lot of bodies of water and a beach and 4th of July and this and that. So I think, don't be intimidated by it. It's fun. It's a great sport. It's a sport that can be with you for the rest of your life because it's very low impact. So kick off the running shoes and go and learn to swim because your knees will thank you in a few years. Um, so that's what I have to say.
Yeah, so going to your third Olympics, what is the preparation like? I know you kind of hit on some points and everything. I know when I'm gonna go to the Michael Phelps of all because that's the person that I see in America is like what his training schedule. That's all we keep hearing about. What is your training schedule like, and when does it start to ramp up?
It's ramped up.
All right, next question. No,
Been there.
No, but it's nothing like Michael Phelps. But Michael Phelps and I are doing two very different things. He was training for 400 individual medley, which is one of the hardest events in aquatics. You got to be very fit. He swam it in 4 minutes and 3 seconds. The race I'm preparing for lasts 21 seconds. So we're very different athletes,
Okay.
and our preparation looks nothing alike. But that doesn't mean that I'm not doing hours, and there are things that are similar as well, our rest and our food and the 24-hour athlete stuff, that is all the same. But I'm swimming maybe 5 or 6 times a week, about an hour and a half to 2 hours per session. But the mileage is way less than what a Michael Phelps would do. So the total volume of the laps swam. And probably the gym work, the strength and the power work is a lot more than what Michael would do. But yeah, I think I'm really training a lot similarly to like say a 200-meter track runner. If you could think about that, I would say if you could think about what their gym might look like, it's probably pretty similar. Maybe mine is a lot more upper body focused. But the way the movements are and the style of the training, their interval training or their running, the sprint work, is probably quite similar.
Now, to hit on that, I know for me, that's how I got into swimming and watching it was through Michael.
Yeah.
Do you like that factor of him kind of like exploding the game and exploding the sport? Or do you feel like, damn, like we're not all the same? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, we're not all the same. He's on a different level.
Yeah.
He's like in a different, do you like that? Do you not like that? Or is it kind of like in the middle?
Well, the question does get old, like when you get on the plane and they say, "Oh, you went to the Olympics, do you know Michael Phelps?"
Okay.
So in that regard, that gets very old. But what Michael did for this sport is, there's this term now called swimflation, where like you see the times that are happening at World Champs. Every year the top 16 gets quicker. Every year the top 8 get quicker. Swimming is getting a lot faster very quickly, and it's being revolutionized the way that people train. I think it's because swimming is a lot younger sport than track and field, and the technology is coming in, and the science behind training is just starting to come in. I think track and field has pushed up a lot closer to the limits of human performance, and a world record is a lot more rare in running because people have been running on a track for so much longer than people have been swimming in a high-tech pool with a super specific touchpad with tech suits and swimming has evolved afterwards. But I think a big part of these faster times the generation of kids like myself that grew up watching Michael Phelps in 2008 are now coming into their prime. So Michael Phelps brought all of these kids that watched the Olympics in 2008, he made swimming cool. And all of those athletes that would have done something else, maybe play football or tennis or rugby or golf or whatever, they decided, I'm going to swim because that guy did is super cool. And all those kids are now between 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, to 30. And they're all like swimming super fast and everybody's going faster and faster. So I think that's kind of what he created.
Let me jump in there on that swimming super fast note. We know that it seems that Bob Bowman, who was Phelps' coach, it finally has what the Phelps product may have looked like as a collegiate swimmer and Leo Marshall. He's about to go swim in his own hometown, and for his sake, hopefully do what he intends to do, because I think winning in your home country is probably the most special Olympics you could probably have an experience of. But let's see where your head is on this debate, right? So Bowman has the opportunity to take Phelps in his prime, and it seems like Leo is in prime right now, and have them go head to head in the 4 IM. If you had to, if it was Bowman answering the question, who do you think he would choose? Because Phelps hated to lose, but he liked to win, right? And it seems like Marshall might have that same sort of killer instinct. But in his eyes, say, okay, Bowman, tell me who's going to win the 4 IM at NCAAs. You have Marshall in lane 4, you have Phelps in lane 5. Who's winning?
Well, to answer the question as Bob, I don't know. Don't all parents like their first kid the most?
Right? That's what they brag about the most.
It has to be. It has to be that way, I think he'd probably say Michael, but I don't know.
You think he can go under 4 minutes in the 4 IM in Paris?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know anything about the 4 IM. So you're not like asking an expert. but I think 3 seconds in a 400 IM is like less than 1 second in 100 free, and you got so many ways to make it up. I don't know. It may be crazy. Maybe under 4 minutes is too fast. Yeah, maybe it's too fast. I'll take that back and change it over. I'll say no.
If he does that, I think it would blow everybody's mind.
What did he go? 4.2 or 4.3 last time? Oh, okay. 2 seconds. I don't know. I still say no.
I think 4:01. So 3:59 sounds pretty
insane. Dropping 2 point something seconds, like when you've already, I mean, who knows? Don't want to doubt the kid, and then he screen records me and like you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna stop.
You're gonna be on social media. I told you, Dylan.
So we've talked a little bit about your preparation in the water and how you've developed in the water. But when I was swimming in high school, a big part that my coach always instilled in us was dry land stuff is just as important. Specifically, we always employed a lot of visualization for our races. So I was curious as to, at your level, have you employed and do you still employ any type of visualization? And then if so, how do you approach it?
Yeah, I do. I definitely use it. I use it before a race. If there's a new skill that I'm trying to, or cue that I really want to focus on, I will use it and rehearse it. Or I'll use it in practice if I'm trying to learn something new. I think that's really helpful way to do it. You can practice it a bunch of times in your head and then do the thing. But I do think that the best way to race is not really thinking about a bunch of stuff. So yeah, maybe the best happy medium is to visualize beforehand and then just put it away and just trust the subconscious to do the
once
rest.
It's race time.
Yeah. But there's certain competitions where you want to, if the competition is for practice, then you can treat it that way, whereas
Yeah. Cool.
So the competition's coming up. Tell us where we can expect to see you. Are you going to be swimming at any 2IR Pro Series meets? Like, what's your summer lineup looking like?
No, I will not be in any 2IR Pro Series meets. I'm avoiding them like the plague these days. But I will be in Mare Nostrum in Europe. I love those.
Just tell everybody. I don't think people would know. Just quick rundown what that means.
Yeah, so there's a short tour that runs through every year. It runs through Barcelona, Monaco, and Cannes, which is a very small countryside town in France. So it's like 3 stops on the Mediterranean. And it's a pretty high level meet, very high level meet. But it's more sort of, I guess you could say pro swimming has like maybe 2 little different circuits going on. There's like the European scene with meets going on over that side, and then there's the American scene with the pro series. But I did tons of the American scene when I lived over in California, so I'm a bit sick of it. So I'm enjoying the European scene these past few years. So I'm going to go do that in May, and then there's one final one in Rome, Sette Colli in June. and then I'll be in Paris in July.
So you setting up shop in Europe? Are you gonna plan on staying there and training?
Yeah, I leave in May, and I won't be back until after the games.
That's incredible. So where are you gonna be based?
Well, I'll do the Mare Nostrum tour, and then hopefully I'll go visit a friend of mine, a training partner, who's actually here with me in Trinidad right now, Ralph Tribunstov from Estonia. Nice. So he's here with me in Trinidad right now. We're training together, and maybe I could stop off by him in Estonia there for a little bit in between, and then I'll hit the last meet and head over to France.
Maybe you'll be running into our old friend, Mr. Renzo Tonjo, who's now a citizen of the Netherlands.
Yeah, hopefully he's now representing Netherlands. A really, really good friend of mine. So it'd be great to see him back on the international scene again.
I think we got 2 more questions, Dylan, and then we'll let you ride. Trey, I think you got 2.
Yeah. So Dylan, you've been to a couple of Olympics. I guess quick 2-part. Was there any particular athlete that was like it was just cool to meet? You were like, I can't believe I met this person. It was crazy or starstruck. And for the upcoming Olympics, is there anybody that you're like, please let me run this person? I've always wanted to meet this person.
Okay, so Rio 2016, I'll give you a quick story. I'm running out of my building, I don't know, going somewhere after training or whatever. And I realized, oh no, I forgot my phone in the room. So I spin around and I'm just spinning around, running back into the building. And I end up running into this guy, and he grabs me by both shoulders because we're in the doorway, and he just kind of moves me around. He said, hey, yeah, watch out, buddy. And he moved me around, and I was just super starstruck because it was Usain Bolt leaving my building, grabbed me by 2 shoulders and moved me like that. So that was super cool. And flash forward to like a month ago in Miami airport. I'm walking through Miami airport, just, minding my own business, and look up from my phone, and I lock eyes with Usain Bolt again, right across from me. He's got his headphones in, he's walking the other way, and we lock eyes with each other, and I freeze, like if I'm seeing an old friend. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Caribbean athlete. I'm like, yeah, like he's gonna remember me, but of course he didn't remember me, so he was just like, looked the other way and kept going. But I didn't want to go mob the guy and make a whole scene because we were in the terminal, but it's funny to run into him again. And it was cool to meet, I tried to not be too much of a fanboy at these things, but I'm a huge Djokovic fan, so I did snap a quick pic with him in Tokyo.
Nice.
So yeah, but this time around, no pictures, no fanboy, no star. I'm there for business.
Fair enough.
Unless you say Bolt walk by, then you'll be like,
yeah. Well, that's my boy. No, we're friends.
Yeah.
Keep running into me. I think that's what it goes. Yeah. All right, I got one question just outside of swimming. What do you like to do outside of swimming? Like, what is your favorite? You said your favorite sport is tennis outside of swimming, but like, what do you like to do outside? Like, just to get your mind.
I don't watch Man U football anymore.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. That's terrible. No, but I am a big Premier League fan. I'm actually a Chelsea fan, so I watch a lot of Premier League on the weekends with my dad. But I love to get out to the beach, get out to play a bit of golf. Just chill out with the friends. My brother's is just yesterday we went mountain biking with my brother. He's crazy for that stuff. I don't know if I'll get back on that bike before the Olympics because that thing is like you're really on the edge there, like these mountains, but it was fun. So yeah, anything like that, get out on the water. I love to be in the sea, to be in nature, to hike, to go to a waterfall. I love the natural beauty of the Caribbean. So to do anything with that, I love.
Perfect. Awesome. And we wish you the best of luck in Paris. If it's possible, we'd love to have you on while you're there, maybe for like 5 minutes, just to see how things are going. Love to have you on. And if you're ever in Miami again and you want to play a round of golf, just hit me up. That's where I live. So
sounds good, man. Sounds good.
We'll play around. And and since we had to reschedule, you're taking us all to Paris with you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what. Well, just send me your preferred airlines, and I'll put my people on it. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Thank you.